Oxford and Cambridge. The demand for his insights then expanded within Europe, India, Canada, and across the US. Bhuta Bhavana Dasa shares presentations that take the wisdom of bhakti into the field of practical, transformative application, with a special emphasis on leadership, relationships, and spiritual personal development. Bhuta Bhavana Dasa likes to share penetrating insights along with inspiration and a clarity of vision that helps us to navigate our journey in a healthy and lasting way. He is also a mentor to a number of professionals, both in London and globally, many of whom he has trained and guided for many years. He also recently launched the Yed Anoba podcast with the TEAM personality model and the unique self-esteem spectrum framework for understanding self-value and how to develop it. So thank you very much, Prabhu, again. On behalf of ISKCON Balram Desh and Avatari Desh devotees, we welcome you again. We would like to have listen from you, Prabhu, your insights. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. I want to say thank you to Rasamrita Prabhu and to all of the seniors here for, obviously the leaders for giving us this very kind invitation. And we'd love to share something on the auspicious, glorifying the very auspicious appearance of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So what we're going to do is we'll say Mangalacharyan. Then what we will do is we will read a prayer, Sri Nityananda Nishta by Narottam Das Thakur in glorification of Lord Nityananda, and then we will speak, elaborating on those wonderful verses from this wonderful Acharya about the glorious Lord. Okay, so let's begin. Gyanatimbarandasya, Gyananjana Shilakaya, Chakshu Militamina, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam, Vandeham Shri Guru, Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam, Sahagana Ragnatam Vitam Tvam Sajivam, Advaitam Savadutam Virjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita, Shri Vishakambitam Cha, He Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Rishabhanu Sutadevi, Pranamami Hari Priye, Vanchikapatrubhyas Cha, Kripa Sindhu Vyeva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it is our real honor and our pleasure to be with all of you to discuss the glories of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. We were giving a class yesterday and we began the class, we'll share the same initial entry point. We were saying that there are three things we need to be aware of. 5,000 years ago, Krishna descended upon the earth. He had his associates with him. He engaged in his pastimes. Amongst those pastimes was the Battle of Kurukshetra. Within the Battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna had this very special dialogue with his great devotee and friend Arjuna. This dialogue has come to be known as the Bhagavad Gita, literally the song of God, the song of the Supreme. Srila Prabhupada said the last instruction is the most important. So what was the last instruction in the Bhagavad Gita? Savadamam Prityaja, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, Aham Tvam Sava Papebhyo, Moksha Yishyami Masuchaha. Krishna tells Arjuna, abandon all varieties of religion and surrender unto me. I shall protect you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. So 5,000 years ago, Krishna gave the order. But Krishna also understood the degraded nature of this age of Kali. He knew that in the age of Kali, everything goes down. Manda sumanda manda bhagya. Everything decreases. Intelligence decreases. Piety decreases. Duration of life decreases. Krishna understood that there was one thing that increases. The one thing that increases across the ages, the one thing that increases in the Satya Yuga is the false ego, the ahankara. Ahankara vimudatma katahamiti manyate. This confused idea that I'm the doer. Krishna knew that because the ahankara increases, previously he gave the order, but he would come again in the age of Kali. He would come again in the age of Kali. How? As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishna, 5,000 years ago gave the order. He comes as Lord Chaitanya. Who is Lord Chaitanya? Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna, Nahi Anya. He's Krishna, but at the same time there's a difference. What is that difference? Radha Bhava Duty Suvalitam. Radha Bhava. We know that there is a masculine nature. Krishna is the Purush, the original male. We also know that there's a female nature. And we know that that female nature is Srimati Radharani, the original female, whose every quality, every aspect of her personality gives unlimited pleasure to Krishna. And there was a pastime where Radharani was asleep, and in the sleep, she had a dream. And when she woke up, she was crying. She was crying because of the dream. So she explained the dream to Krishna. She said that in this dream, I saw this personality. She said, first of all, I thought it was you, because the personality was calling out, Radhe, Radhe. She said, then I thought it was me, because the personality was calling out, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna asked her a question. He said, but why were you crying? And she said to him, I was crying because I was attracted to this personality. So Krishna explained to her, this personality that you saw in the dream, this personality is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is how you and I will combine in the Kali Yuga. So Krishna, but with Radha Bhava, Radha duty, with Radharani's mood, but also complexion. So this mood is very powerful because the feminine aspect is more compassionate than the masculine aspect. Krishna gave the order. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes and gives the example. So what is going on? It means that there is an expansion of mercy. Mercy, order. Mercy extends itself to example. So Lord Chaitanya appeared to give this Sankirtan Yajna. Yagnai Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Hisumedashaha. He comes with his associates and his weapons in the Kali Yuga to distribute this Ujjwala Ras, this love of Krishna. Not just any love of Krishna. Not just any love of God. There are many different types of prema. There is Vaikuntha prema. One worships Narayan. There's Dwaraka prema. Worship of the Lord in Dwaraka, Ram. Lord Chaitanya comes to give Braj prema. Narottam Das Thakur has sung in Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gonainu. He explains Golokera Premadana, Harinam Sankirtana. Golokera Prema, Goloka Prem, the love of Vrindavan. He says, done, treasure. The treasure of divine love in Goloka Vrindavan has descended in this Kali Yuga. How? Harinam Sankirtana. This Goloka Prema has come with Lord Chaitanya and his associates to give not just love of God, but specifically the love of God which is experienced and relished by those who are residents in the most intimate place in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. But there's more. Krishna gave the order, Gauranga Mahaprabhu gave the example, but these two things require something else. If you have £1 million in the bank or $1 million, wonderful. But unless you are able to connect with what you have, literally it makes no difference. Unless you have access to what you've been given, it makes no difference. So the special quality of Sri Nityananda Prabhu is that he gives the access. Lord Krishna gives the order, Gauranga Mahaprabhu gives the example, Lord Nityananda gives the access. So we are eternally dependent upon the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Eternally dependent. That Nityananda Prabhu, so it is because of his form, qualities, pastimes, but most importantly, because of his mercy, that we have opportunity to return back home, back to Godhead. Narottam Das Thakur, in his writing, Rajendra Nandanaye, Sachi Sutta Hoilo say, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. Balaram Hoilo Nitai. So Balaram is the older brother of Lord Krishna, and he descends with Lord Krishna. When Krishna comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Balaram comes as Sri Nityananda Prabhu. There are different forms of the Lord. So when we speak of divine personalities, in order to really understand them, we want to understand the tattva. Tattva means literally thatness. It is like the understanding of the quality, the category of something. And as we are able to understand the tattva, we're able to also then better appreciate the leelas, the pastimes, etc. So we know that Krishna is what? Swayam Bhagavan. Ete chamsa kalau pumsa Krishna stu Bhagavan Swayam. There are many incarnations of God, but Krishna is not an incarnation. Bhagavan Swayam. And he has many different forms. He has his Prabhav Prakash. So these are his expansions. There's two types. The Prabhav Prakash, those forms have the same mood and the same complexion as the Lord. So for example, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. When that form of the Lord steps outside of Vrindavan, it is no longer Brajendrananda Krishna. It's not Shyamasundar Krishna. It is now Vasudev Krishna. As he moves beyond the boundaries of Goloka, of Vraj. So those forms, though, have the same mood and complexion. But there is also the Vaibhav Prakash. The Vaibhav Prakash have different moods and different complexions. And Balaram is that first of those expansions. He has white complexion and he has a different mood. What is his different mood? His mood is that I am the servant of Krishna. And it is that Balaram who appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Interestingly enough, Balaram and therefore Lord Nityananda, very, very special personality in so many ways. We know that there are 5 rasas. So Balaram expands into all of Krishna's paraphernalia. He expands as Vrindavan Dham. He expands as Krishna's dress. He expands as Krishna's flowers, decorations, sitting place, ornaments, shantaras, all of these forms, right? Forms of neutrality. In Dasyaras, Balaram serves Krishna as a servant. In Sakyaras, Balaram acts as a friend because he's Krishna's brother. So that level of equality is there. So in Sakyaras, Balaram acts as a friend. But because Balaram is an older brother, there's also elements of Vatsalyaras, parental mood, because he's protective of his younger brother. And finally, that same Balaram expands as a Nanga Manjari. And as a Nanga Manjari, Balaram is also therefore serving in the Madhurya Ras. So many ways in which Balaram serves, and that Balaram has now appeared in this age of Kali, in this most fallen period of time, in the most merciful way. What Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may not give, Balaram will also give. Very, very special. In the material world, we have so many problems. Problem number one, and this also applies even as devotees, our first problem is that we do not understand what is in our best interest. And this is played out through various pastimes. We read in the Shastra that the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijay, they were cursed. Cursed by who? They were cursed by the four Kumaras. Cursed to appear on the earth 3 times. So they appeared. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Shishupal and Dantavakra. Right? Ravana, Kumbhakarna. They appear 3 times as demons. So the Bhagavatam says that they appeared 3 times, but they actually appeared 4 times. They appeared 3 times, they went back. When they returned, Krishna said, I'm glad that you came back, but I'm performing my pastimes in Kali Yuga as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, Jai and Vijay came back a 4th time. The 4th time they came as Jagai and Madai. So on this 4th occasion, there was this interaction with Sri Nityananda Prabhu. What was the quality of that interaction? Sri Nityananda Prabhu wanted to give Jagai and Madai the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We often forget what we've been given. That is one of the most unfortunate symptoms of this age of Kali. We forget what we've been given. As we said, Manda Samanda Manda Bhagya. We're so unqualified and so fallen, and yet we don't understand that even the most fallen people have been given the greatest thing. How do we explain this? This form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes extremely rarely. Usually, the form of the Lord that comes is a form called Gaura Narayan. And as the people connect with that particular form, they go to Vaikuntha. And these are qualified people, go to Vaikuntha. In this Kali Yuga, everyone is unqualified, and look what Krishna has done. Look what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, look what Nityananda Prabhu has done. In the age where the individuals are the most fallen, they're being given an opportunity to achieve the most exalted form of love of Krishna in the most intimate place in the entire spiritual universe. In this Kali Yuga, there's so much ingratitude. And part of it is because we do not reflect on what we've been given. Due to ignorance, we're always comparing ourselves to other people. Oh, he's got a bigger house, he's got a bigger car, he's got a better job. We don't understand what we've been given. Therefore, the heart in Kali Yuga becomes hard. Sri Nityananda Prabhu has come to break the heart. And his pastimes reveal this. So in the pastime of Jagai and Madai, he approaches them. They cannot understand his position. Why? Because they are debauchees, right? So much engrossed in sense gratification, so sinful that they cannot even begin to perceive the good fortune that they've been given. So what do? They literally offend the Lord. And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hears about this, what does he do? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is immediately ready. He invokes his Sudarshan Chakra. He's ready to immediately kill these people. Something very interesting plays out. And this pastime, it really indicates the special mercy of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda explains it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, in Kali Yuga, this is how everyone behaves. This Jagai and Madai in Kali Yuga, everyone is like this. So better than killing them, why don't we deliver them? This is the special mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Someone who's so kind, so merciful, the expansion of mercy. Krishna gives the order, Lord Chaitanya gives the example, but Nityananda gives the access. He gives the access. Access to who? Access to the most unqualified. So on these days where we try to appreciate and glorify such personalities, we should appreciate their mercy. There's a big epidemic in the material world. One of the biggest epidemics in the material world is the epidemic of mental illness. A key part of mental illness and mental health is perception. Is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? When an individual recognizes that they are unqualified, and when they recognize that despite the lack of qualification, we're being given so many opportunities, so much mercy, so much knowledge, so much wisdom, so much understanding, so much help, so much mercy. If one reflects upon that, the heart becomes full. The heart becomes full with gratitude. So in our Krishna consciousness culture, these special days of these special forms of the Lord, if we meditate on their form, if we meditate on their pastimes, if we meditate on their example, then we can truly understand how blessed we are. And with that reflection comes gratitude. And with that gratitude comes enthusiasm, utsahan. Prabhupada explains that actually everything in spiritual life begins with this utsahan, this enthusiasm. Unless this enthusiasm is there, nothing else can come. Let us look at the prayer that we mentioned. Well, this is a prayer, Sri Nityananda Nishta. This is by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. I think many of you will recognize, especially the first line of this prayer. It's a very famous prayer. Nittai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala Ye Chaya Jagatanchu Rai Heno Nittai Bineba Radha Krishna Paite Nai Vrita Kori Daronite Pai. Translation. The lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are more soothing than millions of moons, and their shade brings relief to the universe. Oh brother, without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, one cannot attain Radha and Krishna. So hold on tightly to Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. So this is so amazing. Lord Nityananda is Balaram, he's Guru Tattva. So what does that mean? It means that by service of the spiritual master's instruction, sincere service to the order of the spiritual master, and something more, by the way. The letter of the law, which is the order. But just like Krishna has his energy, right? So you have the form of the Lord and his energy. The order also has an energy. You have the letter of the law. You also have the spirit of the law. What do I mean by that? Oftentimes we see in our spiritual communities, someone may do something that they're asked to do, but they do it in a negative mood. They do it in a mood which is proud, I'm better than other people. Or they do it in a mood which is disrespectful to other people. So they can follow the words, but they don't follow the spirit, the mood behind those words. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he's so merciful. Why? Because he does both. That is Guru. That is real Guru. And that is also real follower. Someone sent me something. I'll just read this to you because I think it's so powerful about Lord Nityananda. The essence of a follower is imbibe the mood of the Acharya. Gauranga descended to uplift rather than destroy. Nitai imbibed this mood so much that even when Gaura said, kill them, the Jagais and Madhas of this world, Nitai said, save them. He imbibed Gaura's mood deeper than even Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself. Very, very powerful. This soothing, Lord Nityananda, his lotus feet are more soothing than millions of moods, and we need that. In the material world, it is described as a blazing fire, the blazing fire of material existence. We need the cooling rays to put out that blazing fire of passion, which ends like poison, as Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita. So, we need the mercy of Lord Nityananda, and that comes by the mercy of Guru, and that comes by following the order of Guru. The letter of the law, and also the spirit of the law. Let's go on to the next verse. Se sambandha nahi ja, Vrita janma girota, Se pashu borodura cha. Nitai nai bolilo mukhe, Machilo samsara sukhe, Vidyakuli kikoribe ta. One who has not established a relationship with Nityananda Prabhu has spoiled his human birth. Such a person can be compared to a sinful animal. Never speaking about Lord Nityananda, he becomes absorbed in the so-called pleasures of material life. How can his useless education and family tradition do him any good? We need a higher taste. One of the secret weapons of Sankirtan is it allows us, as Lord Chaitanya says, it allows us to do what? To taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. It is not possible just to give up the material energy. Just in the same way, it's not possible for a child to have no toy. The child needs some type of enjoyment, some type of pleasure. So our philosophy is not to give up. Our philosophy is to replace. Param drisva nivartate. We let go of something which is of a lower quality by connecting to something of a higher quality. Therefore, Lord Nityananda he's giving this Sankirtan Yajna. San means all, right? Everything. Kirtan, so it means the collective chanting of the holy name. But it also means how to engage everything in the loving, devotional service of the Lord. You know? And in this particular verse we just read, never speaking about Lord Nityananda, he becomes absorbed in the so-called pleasures of material life. When we glorify a great personality, there's a science to this. It is explained that when you appreciate, glorify a great personality, a certain percentage of their good qualities enters into our own heart. So literally in glorification of Nityananda Prabhu, we are also becoming purified and coming a little bit closer to this mood of compassion. Take a moment to meditate. All of us in this life, we've been let down by people sometimes. All of us in this life, we've sometimes been disappointed by other people. Sometimes in this life, we've disappointed ourselves. I want you to take a moment. I want you to imagine what your life would be like if in your day-to-day life, moment by moment, if every person you met, you felt a deep sense of a loving compassion for them. Take a moment to think about that. Everyone you meet, everywhere you go, you just feel deep, loving compassion for those personalities. How would that change your life? How would you feel? I know for myself, if everywhere I went, if everyone I met, I just felt deep love and compassion for them, it would change the very nature of my existence. I wouldn't take offense at anyone's behavior. I would overlook things which are unimportant. I would not be disturbed or stopped by anyone else's bad behavior. If my heart overflowed with compassion, it would be an ecstatic existence. Think about it. Someone that you know who you had some interaction with, you felt upset, you were angry with them. If you had deep, unending compassion for them, it would change the very nature of our lives. Think about that. Nityananda Prabhu, his example, reflecting on his example, his name, qualities, forms, pastimes, deeply reflecting in the mood of humility, he can give us this gift of compassion, a compassion greater than the Lord's compassion himself. And that compassion, ladies and gentlemen, will transform everything about us. And when you have compassion, compassion is like the sun. People don't understand this in Kali Yuga, but compassion is like the sun. When the sun is out, if you're present and other people are present, you both feel the heat, you both feel the warmth of that sun. So when we have compassion for others, we also find that we have compassion for ourselves. The people who are very harsh, very unforgiving, if you look carefully into their own life, you'll see that the reason why they are so lacking in compassion and forgiveness for other people is they also lack compassion and forgiveness for themselves. It is very difficult to give what we do not have. And Lord Chaitanya and his associates, especially Sri Nityananda Prabhu, they are the exemplar. So on this day and throughout our lives, if you choose to do so, this mission, if you choose to accept it, we can pray to Lord Nityananda. We have so much mercy, we don't know what to do with it. We can say, my dear Lord Nityananda, you have compassion. You have this real compassion. Your compassion is so great that you're even prepared to help someone as fallen as me. Please allow me to also have this compassion that you have. Please give me the gift of your loving compassion. And if we receive his compassion, even a drop of the inexhaustible, eternal, and unlimited compassion of Lord Nityananda, if we get even a fraction of it, our lives are transformed forever. I don't care so much for just giving philosophy. What we want, ladies and gentlemen, in our spiritual life, we need to change. We need to feel I'm growing, I'm changing, I'm transforming in spiritual life. We need to feel I'm coming closer to Krishna, closer to the goal. So Krishna consciousness is not a process of philosophy. It is a process of transformation using philosophy and using sadhana. We want to grow. The aim of a true follower of Srila Prabhupada is that we are not the same person that we were last year or the year before. That we've grown and we've transformed. And this mercy of Lord Nityananda, this mercy of Guru, is the key. The lotus feet of our spiritual master, what is it that prays? Guru Vandana? The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. Interesting, the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord and master of devotees. O master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet. Those lotus feet, that is Lord Nityananda Mahaprabhu. That is Lord Nityananda Prabhu. The original Guru. Let us read on. Verse number 3. Ahankari mata hoya Nitai pada pashariya Asatyere satyakori mani Nitaye koruna habe Raje Radha Krishna Pape Daro Nitai Charanantu Kanai. Translation. Being maddened by the false ego, one easily forgets the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda while considering untruth to be truth. If Nityananda is merciful, one can attain Radha and Krishna in Vraj. So hold on tightly to Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. We need to hold on tightly to Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. That ability to hold on tightly, it is a strength. It requires strength. Where do we get our strength from? Where does strength come from? Where does spiritual strength come from? What did Prabhupada say? He said, if I have any credit, the only credit I have is that I did not deviate even an inch from the order of my spiritual master. In Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, he glorifies Baladev Vidyabhushan because when he read his commentary, he saw and really took to heart this idea of making the order of the spiritual master one's life and soul. Isn't that amazing? We can gain strength. We can hold on to these lotus feet which are more cooling than millions of moons, by really holding fast to the order of our spiritual masters. Krishna consciousness is like, it is a spiritual community. So I remember when I got initiated, the day after I got initiated, I was in a meeting with my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And he said something that I'll never forget. He said, the relationship you have with your spiritual master is a special relationship. It is like a father. So we honor that relationship. He said, but there are many things that you can learn even better by your aunts and uncles, even than your father. When we are immature in spiritual life, we have this kind of mood. It's just about my guru. No one else. I don't care about anyone else. It's me and my guru. Immature. The proper mood is, it's our family, our ISKCON family, our Prabhupada family. Yes, the relationship with the guru is special. It is special because it's the relationship with the father, and he's taking special responsibility. So it is special. But because I have a special relationship with my father, it does not mean I do not honor and respect my aunts, my uncles, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my nieces, my nephews. If it's a real healthy relationship with the father, then the healthy relationship with the father is shown by honoring all members of my father's family. Otherwise, it means I'm an immature son or daughter of my father. So, this point, this ability to hold to those lotus feet, that strength comes from Guru. Guru Tattva, Nityananda Tattva, non-different. Let's read this last verse. So, Nitya Charana Satya Tahara Sevaka Nitya Nitya Pada Sadakoro Asha Narottama Borotuki Nitya Mores Korosuki Rakoranga Charanera Pasha. So let's read the translation. The lotus feet of Nityananda are not illusion, they are a fact. One who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda will also catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. This Narottam Das is very unhappy, therefore I am praying to Lord Nityananda to make me happy. By keeping me close to your lotus feet. This is very special. Prabhupada stated that by reciting the prayers of great acharyas, something transformative happens. We've just sung this prayer, we've just read and heard this prayer. By reciting these prayers, the mood, the bhava, the mood of these pure devotees who feel this, their mood starts to enter into our own consciousness. Think about this. We've been given so much. We don't understand what we've been given. Everything has symptoms in spiritual life. We know that different stages of spiritual progress have symptoms. Narada Muni and Srimad Bhagavatam, what does he say? Yashya Lakshanam Proktam. Things can be understood by their symptoms. Therefore, we also understand that if someone takes real advantage of this Krishna consciousness, this Krishna conscious process, you can tell. Why? Because there are symptoms. Huh? Taking real advantage means what? These prayers, recite them. Holy name, chant it offenselessly, attentively. Huh? Association comes. Let us take advantage of that association, especially that pure association. Huh? Prabhupada had a meeting. It was, I believe it was a journalist. They were saying to Prabhupada, why have you, I've heard that in Indian culture, sannyas is given to people who are older, right? Elderly people. Why have you given sannyas to these young boys and girls? Right? Prabhupada says, what does it mean to be old? He said to him, do you accept that old means that you're about to die? And the person said to Prabhupada, yes, old means you can say, yes, old means you're about to die. Prabhupada said to them, how do you know that you're not about to die? How do you know that you're not about to die? He said, death can come at any moment. Therefore, I've given sannyas to these young boys. That is our life. If you'd have told me in January 2020, Bhuta Bhavana, in a few months, the entire world will have a global pandemic. And they'll have a global pandemic which will affect the economy. People around the world will have to wear masks. They'll have to socially distance. The children may, in many cases, have to stay at home. They won't be able to go to school. If you told me that in January 2020, I'd say no. You're imagining things. This is far-fetched. I can't see that happening. Look what we've been in. Look what's happened to the world for the past year or so. This is the nature of the material world. Death can come to us at any moment. We do not have time. Huh? We need to hold on to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda now. We need to pray to him now. We need to serve the order of the spiritual master deeply and sincerely now. When the coronavirus happened, in London, in the UK, we have a famous temple, Bhaktivedanta Manor. And the temple president of Bhaktivedanta Manor, who's loved around the world, his name was Shruti Dharma Prabhu. He passed away before the coronavirus. Many of us went to the funeral. We went to his funeral that day. And then in the evening, we came together at Bhaktivedanta Manor for the memorial. I was there at the memorial that evening with the devotees glorifying Shruti Dharma Prabhu. One of the devotees who was at the memorial, I saw him, a very wonderful devotee. We met each other, we embraced. We embraced. The devotee's name was Rameshwara Prabhu. Soon after, he was diagnosed with coronavirus. I'd embraced him. Soon after he was diagnosed with coronavirus, it was such a serious case of coronavirus that he passed away. And there were several people who passed away in our community, several people who didn't pass away, but they were very ill. And I was reflecting, what is Krishna trying to teach me? And if I'm honest, he's teaching me Bhuta Bhavana. Look, you see this? Every moment, time. Kalosmi, time I am. Krishna says in the Gita, we do not have time. And this is why that conversation, Yamaraj, Yudhisthira, what is the most wonderful thing in the world? Yudhisthira replies, the most wonderful thing is that every day we see people passing away, but we all act as if we will live forever. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were to leave your body now, would you go back to the spiritual world? Please, let us ask ourselves this question. If I was to leave my body now, do I have a ticket back to the spiritual world? Is my consciousness such that I can go back to the spiritual world as I am now? We have an exciting journey We have an incredible journey, but we also have work to do. We do not know when we are going to leave this world. I'll tell you what I started doing. I didn't do it today. But what I started doing on my phone, when I wake up, I set a countdown timer. So however many hours before I go to sleep, I have a timer and I set it. So when I look at the phone, I can see the seconds of my life going. I can see these seconds. My life is going. I can see that my time is going. My life is going. And one day, those seconds, that next second will be the second I leave this world. One day soon, right? Because it's always, whenever we leave, it's just the next moment. So I can understand that. So I want to encourage all of us, let us remember that. Let us remember that we do not have time, and let us do everything we can to hold on to this extraordinary gift of Krishna consciousness, and to take full advantage of Krishna consciousness. Everything should be used in a way that helps us to come closer to Krishna as soon as possible, and to give it to others as much as possible, as purely as possible. This is the example of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And if we are to consider ourselves his followers, this is also our mission. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. So, if there are any questions, maybe we can have some time to take any questions.
Hare Krishna, Krishnanesh Prabhu. Then you have a
Hare
question.
Krishna.
Yeah, please.
Yes,
You have a
Prabhu.
question.
Hare
Please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thank you very much for a very inspiring class. It was very, very wonderful. Very, so many teachings we take from this class. Prabhu, my question is now how Nityananda Prabhu is so compassionate. He even forgiven Jagai and Matai they have offended the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Prabhu, when we read that, like Hanuman, when he burned the Lanka, we say, yes, what he did is right, because they are offenders of the Lord. But how we can compare with Hanuman with Nityananda Prabhu? Hanuman section and with Nityananda Prabhu section, Prabhu.
Yes,
Hare
yes. Thank you. Thank you for a wonderful question, Prabhu. So there's a few things we can take from this. The first thing is that actually, even when people are, for example, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, those warriors who died, they all achieved liberation. They all achieved liberation because they passed away in the presence of the Lord. But as we said, the Lord, he wants people to come back to him. I mean, some of you on the call, your parents. It's painful when your children don't understand what's good for them. Even though you try to give them some direction, they may not understand that my father or mother, they love me. So when they're telling me to do something, they know it's in my best interest. They know what's best for me. So the children may be rebellious, but you also appreciate it if your mature children speak to the immature ones and help the immature children to understand, no. I know you're upset with dad, but dad told you this, or mom said this to you because they care about you. So this is the point. There's different ways to express the Lord's mercy, but Lord Nityananda and the way that Lord Chaitanya and their associates express it, that's the way to express it in this age. Aside from Hanuman and other great personalities in previous ages, what we are meant to do is we're meant to express the mercy in this age in the way that's given by Lord Chaitanya and his associates. You see? So that's the way to understand it. Acharya Vam Purusho Veda. There are many different acharyas, but we understand all the previous acharyas, all the previous teachings through the teachings of the present day acharya. So what is the way that Prabhupada has given mercy in this age? He hasn't killed the Maya he hasn't killed those people who are negative. What he's done instead is he has gone out of his way to deliver them. In previous ages, the good and the bad existed in different universes. Over time, they existed in different planets in the same universe. Over time, they existed in different countries or land masses in the same planet. Over time, they existed in different families. But in Kali Yuga, the good and the bad now exist in the same person. We all have a higher self and a lower self, unfortunately. And so the question becomes, which of these two, the higher self or the lower self, is going to win? The answer is whichever aspect of ourselves we feed the most. We can feed our higher self or our lower self. So yes, Hanuman may have burned Lanka. There may have been so many different ways in which negative forces were dealt with in previous ages. In this age, we don't just kill the fallen, we kill the Maya within those who are fallen. And that is done by the Sankirtan movement. So that is how we compare what was done by Hanuman with what was done by Lord Nityananda, and most importantly, the example that we are meant to follow in this age.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Nice, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have a question, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. My question is, when we look at Chaitanya Charitamrita, we understand that, that Gaurang Mahaprabhu actually, if you look at the way the Leelas are, Gaurang Mahaprabhu actually preached to the class in that manner. He preached to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he preached to Ramanand Rai, he preached to, all like the Keshav Kashmiri, like all them. But when we look at Nityananda Mahaprabhu, we see that, he preached to the masses or to the lower class of kind of, mass of people actually. Generally there is no discussion about philosophy as such from Nityananda Prabhu. So is the understanding correct in terms of, when we actually use as a preaching strategy to preach to two different classes of people, preaching to the class and preaching to the mass, following their footsteps? When we preach to the mass or, general people, we just focus on Sankirtan and not, dwell into philosophy, because at some point in time I believe that philosophy forms a very important part to make Krishna, or like to actually become serious in Krishna consciousness, and to do our practice our Krishna consciousness properly. So we see these two things, and is what I am actually interpreting. I'm not sure, but I just want to understand from what's your thoughts on these.
Thank you for a very brilliant question. I've been meditating on this for many years. It's very, very powerful what you're saying. So years ago, this is about, it's about 20 years ago, we were doing university programs. So I studied at the London School of Economics. We were doing programs there, and there were other programs, other university programs. They're still going on, 26 universities or more in the UK. And our preaching program at the university was called the Spiritual Arts Society. That's what we called it. And some other devotees were preaching in other universities, and they wanted us to change the name of our society for the preaching. And we didn't want to change the name. We thought this is a good name. People are coming. They're hearing the holy name. They're getting prasadam, etc. So, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, very senior disciple of Prabhupada, very famous disciple of Prabhupada, he came to the UK. He was going to study at Cambridge. So we used to go and serve him at Cambridge University, serve him there. And one time I came to him and I asked him this question. I said to him, Maharaj, this is what's happening, and we're preaching, and this is what we call it, and they want us to change the name like that. What should we do? He told me, he said, if Prabhupada was here in this room, he would say three things. He said, Prabhupada would say, did the holy name go out? Did the books go out? Did the prasadam go out? He said, if Prabhupada was here, he'd say, if these three things go out, then your preaching is a success. Then he went on to explain. He said, you have to know your audience. You see, you have to know your audience to know what they can take. So if they can take it by you calling it a different thing, you can call it that. If not, you call it something else. So that's secondary. Now, I love what you said, Prabhu, because this is something we make a mistake of in ISKCON. Prabhupada said we have to also get rid of impersonalism. Many devotees think he meant Mayavad. That's one part of it. The other type of being impersonal is we try to preach to everyone in the same way, irrespective of who they are. And that wasn't Prabhupada's strategy. Prabhupada, for example, Bhaktivedanta Institute, they're preaching to scientists. They give a very specific type of scientific presentation because that's appropriate to that audience. So the answer is actually, you should look at the audience and think, what is the best way to present Krishna consciousness to them? That is what it means to be compassionate. And if they can take it, if it's better to give a bit more philosophy, you give more philosophy. If it's better to just focus on the holy name and kirtan, you focus on the holy name and kirtan. Compassion means, how do I present it so that the people will be able to appreciate it? And we also bear in mind, there's nothing wrong with that because it's a starting point. Ultimately, if people go on the journey of Krishna consciousness, they get all the package. If they keep on the journey, they'll hear the philosophy, they'll read the books, they'll have the holy name. So it's just starting point. What is the correct starting point? It's interesting. Prabhupada told the devotees who were doing the university preaching, he said, do not preach that Krishna consciousness is rules and regulations. He told the devotees preaching at the university, he said, tell them this is a higher philosophy. So for the intelligent class of people, a bit more philosophical. For another group of people, a different way of presenting. They're all equal spiritually, right? We're meant to see that. Everyone's equal spiritually. Pandita Samadarshana. But we have to also be strategic. So depending on the audience, you analyze the audience and you think, okay, this is how the audience are. Therefore, I'm going to package the teaching in this way for this particular audience. That is the perfection. And that readiness to present it according to the needs of the audience so that they can take to it, that is called compassion. Prabhupada writes about this, by the way. Prabhupada writes about this in first canto Bhagavatam, chapter 4, text number 1 in the purple. He says, you don't change the meaning, but you present it in a way which is suitable for the audience. He said, this is called realization. Hope that's okay.
Yeah,
Hare
thank you,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Bahu
Thank you.
Bhuvana Prabhu. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Val,
Hari Bol, Prabhuji. Yes, please go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Val.
Uttam Prabhu, Uttam Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, you have question,
Hari
please.
Bol. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam. Prabhu, your just class was simply really, really wonderful. And just now, our Sipad Balban Prabhu, the question who asked, in related, you have quoted from Srimad Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So same, I had the opportunity to had association with Maharaj in many personal level also in many times.
Wonderful.
So in 2002, before Maharaj left the body from this material in month of May, in February, I met with Maharaj in Mayapur. So I had the same way, the way you said, that Maharaj, please give me the clue how to preach Krishna consciousness to a simple ordinary person on the street. Maharaj has given me 3 secrets. He says, do not talk with them philosophy. First, be with one of them. Second, whenever they have any problems or anything, put your hand on their shoulder, be one of them.
Wow.
Third, do not leave your philosophy out of them, but do not reveal to them, but show them how Krishna consciousness to be practiced, show to them.
Wonderful.
So today when you are quoting, Maharaj, I recall, although it's 19 years before or 20 years before association instruction, I precisely remember it was February. Maharaj left body in month of May. He was in Mayapur. So I remember when you were saying. So I thought, Prabhuji, please forgive me. I thought to share with you when you were saying, giving example of Maharaj.
No, nothing to forgive. Thank you for sharing that nectar. When I hear you speak about Maharaj, it's like brings back so many memories. He's very missed. We missed him so much. He's extraordinary.
I do miss him also. Even I'm talking with you, I got so emotional because I had personal relationship with Maharaj. Sorry, I got so emotional now remembering of Maharaj. Sorry, Prabhu, I got really emotional.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Although we do not know each other, but by Prabhupada family, we come to know we met.
We're all family. We're all family ultimately. That's true. We're all family. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhupada family. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Very well.
If anybody else don't have question, and then I would actually request His Grace Rasamant Prabhu to actually say the vote of thanks on our behalf. Rasamant Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dear Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu, what can I say? Indeed, I'm so grateful to you. Last time also we wanted to have your association, but unfortunately it couldn't work out. But today we are very, very happy that we have you. Indeed, Prabhu, I'm remembering also, like His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, who has a very special place in my heart. And I used to keep, one pamphlet with me where Maharaj speaks about the 4 principles of community building and 4 principles of balance. That's very, very dear to my heart. And one article of Maharaj, when I read, actually, I can never forget. I think that the title of the article was Standing at the Court of Death, something like that. He said that I would enter, and Yamraj will actually stop me. And when he gives so many reasons, that why he should be allowed. And then, everything is rejected. And he says that, do you know who is Prabhupada? I'm his disciple. And in the name of Prabhupada, he says that, we will get an entry. So thank you very much, Prabhu. Wonderful class. Indeed, you told very, very nice way you explained. Just reflecting upon what you said, Prabhu. You said that Krishna gives the order, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives example, but it is Nityananda Prabhu who gives the access, to mercy. And you very nicely, started by explaining how Nityananda Prabhu serves in all the 5 rasas to Krishna, even, in Sant Das, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and also Madhurya Ras. And you very nicely, you said that, in material world, we have so many problems, but we don't, the most important problem is that we don't understand what is our best interest. And then you said that we forget what we have been given. Most fallen people, got the most valuable thing. And in Kali Yuga, everyone is disqualified. However, the most valuable jewel has been given to us, and we don't reflect upon that. And therefore, our heart becomes so hard. And Nityananda Prabhu gives actually mercy, and we should appreciate when we recognize that we are unqualified. And instead of that disqualification, we have been given so much, then our heart becomes full of gratitude. And you told very wonderful sentence, Prabhu. You said that that reflection brings gratitude, and that gratitude brings enthusiasm. And then, singing this wonderful Nityananda Nishta by Shri Narottam Das Thakur, Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala, you explained how Nityananda Prabhu is the Guru Tattva, and we should understand the mood behind those words, and that who is real Guru, and we should become real follower. And the essence of follower is to imbibe the mood of the Acharyas, and we need cooling rain to extinguish the blazing fire. Also, you told that we need higher taste. It is not possible for us to give up material things like the child needs the toy, but our philosophy is not to give up, but to replace, to connect it to higher quality. It was very nice, Roji. You said that when we appreciate great personalities, certain percentage of their qualities come upon us. Very wonderful, Prabhu. And obviously I would not, but there are so many points, but I would be very quick, to complete, Prabhu. But wonderful points you have told. I have noted down many of them. And you said that if we have fraction of that love of our Acharya, then our life would change. we will grow and transform into Krishna consciousness, and we will come closer to Krishna. And Krishna consciousness is the process of transformation using philosophy as well as sadhana. And let us make the our life, the order of spiritual master as our life and soul. And relationship with spiritual master is special, as you said, like father. But we need to also respect our uncles and our God family. And that healthy relationship is shown by respecting the member of the family. And obviously you concluded very nicely saying that by chanting, reciting the prayers of great acharyas, the mood of pure devotees enters into our consciousness. And then we understand that what have been given to us is so valuable. And as obviously the last concluding thing which you told, that we have 3-pointed formula. The holy name is going out, prasadam is going out, and books are going out. And looking at the audience, Krishna consciousness is a package, and we have to be strategic, analyze the audience and the package and the teaching, and that is called realization. Prabhu, wonderful class, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Lot of takeaways from you, and it is our great fortune. So on behalf of Balram Desh, Avtari Desh, on behalf of the temple president Varat Gopal Prabhu, Kirtaneshwar Krishna Prabhu, Gopijan Krishna Prabhu, Balavan Prabhu, and our Yatra leaders, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You're very kind. All the best, and thank you for allowing us to come. Take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Prabhu.
you. Thank you once
Very
again.
good.
Vardhagopal Prabhu, you want to say a few words?
Yes.
Our temple president is here actually now. He's gone. Now, Bhuta.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhu, I could not join in the beginning. I joined little late. But wonderful class, Prabhuji. For me, the take home is that be simple with the simple people. Don't tell too much of philosophy, and have good relationship. You can make them Krishna consciousness. This is take home for me. Thank you so much. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very nice class.
Very good.
Thank you again.
Please
Prabhuji. Thank
visit
you.
us sometime. Once everything settles, please visit us, and we would be very happy to receive you and serve you here in Balram Desh.
We'd love to
Very.
come. Honestly, thank you. Hare
It's
Krishna.
a small place, but with a lot of devotees here. It's a very nice place. So we welcome you.
Thank you. Hare Bol.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Asamrat Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Thank you very much for
Wonderful.
coordinating. Thank you very much for arranging such a class.
It is our good
Hare
fortune,
Bol.
and thank you for giving opportunities, Prabhu, to serve Varat Gopal Prabhu. Thank you.
Hari Hari. Hari
Hare
Bol,
Krishna.
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
So happy. It was a very nice day, Prabhu, today. Hearing morning as well as
Yeah.
evening.
Last 2 days we are enjoying Nityananda Prabhu's mercy actually. We are not enjoying blissful mood actually. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bhuta Bhavana
Bhutan.
Prabhu, sometimes we hear your BG summary and other things for our classes. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Take
Krishna.
care. Thank you for and thank
Bhutan Prabhu,
you. Sorry.
obviously, meaning the time is not there much, but I just wanted, there have been so many wonderful books which has been written by His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. Maybe we can, Balwant Prabhu, you can circulate, maybe in the congregation WhatsApp.
Sure.
This can take advantage of that actually.
Yeah, the
Definitely.
books are
Yeah.
available on Amazon as well now.
Yes.
The books
Yes.
are on Amazon, so and we're working on a few other things as well. So
Yeah.
there'll
Indeed,
be
the
more.
Spiritual Warrior and the Beggar series is so wonderful, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you for reminding us. Yes, it's true. There's a lot of a lot of things we can do. But yeah, I'm really glad to be here. It's nice to meet you. I've never been to Bahrain before, but yeah, I was in Dubai last year, January, because I was in India. We were in India, in Mumbai, Govardhan Eco Village. We spent some time with Radhanath Maharaj, and we also went to Chapati, and then we went to Mayapur, and then from Mayapur I spent some time in Dubai. But yeah, it would be nice to see you guys in Bahrain at some point. Hopefully the situation will allow in the future.
Yeah, very well. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Vachakalpa कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा
Pranam Pavnebhyo Vishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hari Bol. Jai
His
Shri
Grace
Prabhu.
Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
God ki jai.
Jai.
Iskon Parade ki jai. Hari Bol.
Jai.
Brasaka Prabhu, can you please end the meeting now? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna for hosting.
Okay. We'll have a Narasimharti or we can.
Prabhu, I think Narasimhati was done or before, I think, or what? No,
Yeah, we did when Maharaj.
already done, Prabhu.
already done.
For 8
Okay.
o'clock.
We can end the meeting, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare Krishna.